All right, welcome back, everyone. And get this, we're diving deep today into Ho'ola Chiropractic in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Interesting.
And let me tell you about the founder, Dr. Timothy Luke, because his story, oh man, it's pretty fascinating, just like his approach to healing.
So what do we know about this guy? What do we got to work with?
It's kind of cool, actually. We have a mix of materials, a little bit of a biography, some glimpses into the clinic's philosophy, some of their techniques.
Oh, very cool. That should give us like a really well-rounded perspective.
Exactly. We'll really get to know him both as a person and a practitioner, which I think helps us understand his approach on a deeper level.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so are you ready for this? Dr. Luke, he's a local boy, born and raised, graduated from Kamehameha School, Kapiolani campus, and then, get this, went on to the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Nice, local boy.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. He finished his undergraduate degree in just 3 years.
Oh, in 3 years. I mean, that's impressive.
Right. I mean, not only does it suggest like a real drive to succeed, but it also speaks to his ability to absorb and process information quickly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He was not messing around.
And that thirst for knowledge definitely didn't stop there. He went on to earn his Doctor of Chiropractic degree from Life Chiropractic College, graduating summa cum laude and receiving the prestigious, that's a mouthful, Life Chiropractic College Medal of Honors Award.
Wow. Aiming for the stars.
Right. He wasn't just going through the motions. This is someone who really dedicated himself to mastering his craft.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, did he always know he wanted to be a chiropractor?
You know, the materials we have, they don't actually go into that part of his journey.
Okay.
But what we do know is that after graduating, he really sought out the best of the best. He trained under 2 top upper cervical chiropractic doctors in California, Dr. Tom Forrest and Dr. True.
Okay, so this is where we get into the upper cervical chiropractic. For those of us who aren't familiar, I think it might be helpful to kind of understand how that differs from maybe like the traditional chiropractic care.
Yeah, great point. It's a really specific approach. It focuses on the top 2 vertebrae in your neck, the atlas and the axis.
Okay.
And these are super important because they protect the brainstem, which, controls basically all of your body's functions.
So essentially, like, if there's any misalignment in those top vertebrae, it can kind of have a ripple effect throughout the whole nervous system.
Exactly. Potentially, yeah. It's a pretty big deal.
That sounds very delicate.
It is. It's a very precise and gentle approach. And that's what Dr. Luke specialized in during his mentorship.
Oh, wow.
He learned to treat this wide range of conditions that, frankly, some people might even consider incurable. Things like vertigo, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, whiplash, even neurological disorders.
That seems like that's a pretty huge claim, to be honest. Are there details on how it works, how upper cervical chiropractic can address such a diverse range of conditions?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting, and we're going to dig into that more in a bit. But first, I kind of want to talk about how all this training led Dr. Luke to establish Ho'ola Chiropractic in his hometown. Even the name itself is really meaningful. Hula in Hawaiian means to heal or to bring life.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Right. I mean, the name kind of embodies his own journey, from seeking knowledge to bringing healing to others. And it hints at a philosophy that goes beyond just treating symptoms.
Yeah, for sure.
Ho'ola Chiropractic, it's not about masking pain with medication or resorting to invasive procedures. It's really about restoring the body's own ability to heal itself naturally.
Yeah, I can already imagine our listeners nodding their heads along. Right? This is, definitely aligns with that kind of growing interest in holistic and less invasive healthcare solutions.
Totally. But there's got to be more to it than just philosophy, right?
Yeah, for sure. What else is there?
Well, Dr. Luke, he blends this traditional wisdom with some cutting-edge technology. For example, he uses a low-radiation digital X-ray system and something called infrared thermography scans.
Okay.
And he uses all this to ensure he has a complete picture of what's going on inside the body.
Interesting. So this is a great example of how technology can actually enhance a holistic approach.
Yeah, exactly.
And that low radiation aspect, I mean, that's super appealing. But what about the infrared thermography? What kind of insights does that offer?
It's pretty cool, actually. It allows him to see these subtle heat patterns that can indicate nerve dysfunction or inflammation. So whereas traditional X-rays show the bones, the thermography, it gives him a glimpse into the nervous system.
Oh, interesting. So it's almost like he's able to combine these two perspectives to create a more complete understanding of the patient's condition.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really starting to see why you're so excited about this deep dive.
Right. And that's what allows him to develop a truly personalized treatment plan for each individual.
Wow, it sounds like it's so much more than just chiropractic care. It's like a whole philosophy of healing and patient empowerment.
You said it perfectly. And speaking of empowering patients, we've got to talk about the initial evaluation process at Ho'ola Chiropractic.
Okay.
Dr. Luke, he really takes his time. He doesn't just rush people in and out. We're talking about like a real one-on-one consultation.
Okay.
He really listens to their concerns, asks about their health history, and then, of course, does those advanced diagnostics we were just talking about.
Okay, so he's taking the time to build that relationship with the patient.
Exactly, to really understand their needs.
Yeah, that's so important. And then what happens after the initial evaluation?
Then he creates that customized treatment plan.
Right.
But it's not just a one-time thing. He is constantly monitoring their progress and making adjustments to the plan as needed to ensure the best possible outcome.
It sounds like he's like really invested. It's a true partnership.
Yeah.
Not just treating them and saying, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. It's a journey together.
And that's what makes, the difference between a good practitioner and a great one. That commitment, that ongoing commitment to the patient's well-being.
100%. You said it perfectly. But, it's one thing to talk about this approach in theory, and it's another to see it in action. And that's where the patient testimonials come in.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's hear about those. So, I'm really curious to hear about these patient testimonials because sometimes, to be honest, they can sound a little, too good to be true.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the ones we have here, they feel really genuine.
Yeah.
It's people from all walks of life just sharing their experiences with Dr. Luke and Ho'ola Chiropractic.
Yeah.
And it's not just about pain relief, although there's plenty of that.
Right.
There's so much more to it.
So what kind of stories are we talking about? Like what really stood out to you?
Well, there's this one that really stuck with me, and it was about this woman. She had suffered from these debilitating migraines for years, and she had tried everything, like medication, acupuncture, you name it.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing seemed to work long term.
Yeah.
She was really at her wit's end until she found Dr. Luke.
And what happened after she started treatment at Ho'ola Chiropractic? Did she experience, like, complete relief?
It wasn't instant. But over time, she noticed a significant decrease in the frequency and intensity of her migraines.
Okay.
And she went from having them like several times a week to maybe once a month. And even those were much more manageable.
Wow.
Yeah, she talks about how it literally changed her life. She was finally able to enjoy activities that she had given up on, and her overall mood improved drastically.
It's huge, yeah.
It's amazing.
That's powerful. It kind of makes me wonder, how is it that, like, adjusting the top two vertebrae in the neck can have such a big impact on something like migraines?
Well, remember how we were talking about the atlas and axis protecting the brainstem?
Right, yeah.
So when those vertebrae are misaligned, it can put pressure on those nerves that travel up into the head and face.
Okay.
And that, for some people, can trigger those migraines.
Interesting.
So by gently correcting that misalignment, Dr. Luke is basically taking the pressure off those nerves, allowing them to function properly again.
So it's a more direct approach than, like, just masking the pain with medication or something.
Right.
But I imagine it probably takes time for the body to rebalance and heal.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a quick fix, it's really a journey.
Right.
It's about restoring that natural equilibrium.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's something that's emphasized in a lot of the testimonials, like the importance of patience and trust in the process.
Speaking of trust, there's another testimonial that I found really intriguing, and it was from a patient who was initially skeptical about chiropractic care. He'd been dealing with chronic back pain for years, and he kind of resigned himself to the idea that surgery was, like, his only option.
Yeah, that's a pretty common story. A lot of people come to Dr. Luke as a last resort after they've tried everything else.
So what happened with this skeptical patient? Like, did Dr. Luke's approach convince him?
It did. He was really amazed by how thorough Dr. Luke was in explaining everything, like the anatomy, the mechanics of the spine, how upper cervical chiropractic worked. And he was impressed by the technology, the advanced technology that was used to pinpoint the exact source of his pain.
Right. Because when you feel like someone truly understands your pain and they're, using everything they can to help you, I mean, that's going to build trust.
Totally, totally. And in this patient's case, that trust really paid off.
Yeah.
After a few weeks of treatment, he started noticing a significant reduction in his pain levels.
Wow.
Yeah, he was able to move more freely, sleep better, and eventually he was able to avoid surgery altogether.
That's a remarkable outcome, but I think it's important to remember that, not everyone will experience such dramatic results.
Right.
Everyone's different. There are no guarantees when it comes to healing.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think Dr. Luke is very upfront about that with his patients. He doesn't overpromise or claim to have all the answers.
Yeah.
Instead, he focuses on working collaboratively with each individual to find what works best for them.
It's refreshing to hear that level of honesty and transparency in healthcare.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm still kind of curious about those more complex conditions that you mentioned earlier, like, the vertigo and the neurological disorders.
Right.
Do the testimonials address those as well?
Yeah, actually, there's one from a young athlete who was struggling with severe vertigo after a concussion.
Oh, wow.
He was having trouble with balance, coordination, and even focusing in school.
Right. Those are all common side effects of concussions.
Yeah, his doctors were puzzled, and he was starting to lose hope.
Concussions are a big deal, especially for, young athletes, and vertigo is it's so debilitating.
Oh, absolutely. And so what Dr. Luke suspected was that the concussion might have caused a misalignment in his upper cervical spine, and that was disrupting the signals from his inner ear to his brain, which was leading to the vertigo.
Interesting. It sounds like a delicate situation. Was he hesitant to try chiropractic care?
He was initially, yeah, but after Dr. Luke, explained everything thoroughly and addressed his concerns, he was willing to give it a try.
So what was the outcome? Was he able to go back to playing sports?
So over time, the adjustments helped to restore proper alignment in his neck, and his vertigo gradually subsided.
Wow.
He was able to regain his balance and coordination, and eventually he did return to playing sports, much to his and his family's relief.
That really speaks to Dr. Luke's expertise, I think, and the potential of upper cervical chiropractic to address even, these complex neurological issues.
Yeah.
But, there are going to be skeptics out there, right? People who, question whether adjusting the neck can really have such, far-reaching effects.
Right, and that's understandable. It's a different way of thinking about, health and healing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But the testimonials that we've been discussing, and many others like them, they offer pretty compelling evidence that there's something really powerful about this approach.
What strikes me is the emphasis on treating the whole person, not just the symptoms.
Yeah.
It's about, understanding how everything is connected.
Right.
And addressing the root cause of the problem, not just masking it with medication or resorting to surgery.
Absolutely. And that's really at the heart of Dr. Luke's philosophy and the mission of Ho'ola Chiropractic, to empower people to take control of their own health and well-being.
It's inspiring to see that kind of dedication, and passion in a healthcare provider.
I agree.
It also makes me wonder, how does Dr. Luke see the future of Ho'ola Chiropractic? Does he plan to, expand his practice, train other practitioners? Does he want to, conduct research to kind of further validate his approach?
That's a great question, and one that we are definitely going to explore in the next part of our deep dive. But before we move on, I'm curious, what are your takeaways so far? What resonates most with you about Dr. Luke and his approach?
Well, what really stands out to me is that combination of traditional wisdom with that, cutting-edge technology, He's clearly not afraid to embrace innovation while staying true to, the principles of natural healing.
Totally. And the level of personalized care that he provides, it's truly remarkable. He's not just applying some cookie cutter approach. He's taking the time to really understand each individual's needs and tailor the treatment accordingly.
It's like he's merging the best of both worlds. The human touch of a skilled practitioner with the precision and insights of modern technology.
Exactly.
But this kind of raises an interesting question for me.
I'm glad you brought that up about merging traditional wisdom with that cutting edge technology.
Yep.
Because it leads right into what I wanted to talk about next. We've talked about how Dr. Luke uses things like low radiation, digital x-rays, and infrared thermography to help inform his treatment plans.
Right.
But he goes beyond that. He's incorporating some seriously innovative technologies into his practice.
Okay, what kind of technologies are we talking? Stuff that complements his upper cervical approach, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. One of the things that he's really excited about is this new type of neurological scanning technology,
Right.
and it lets him measure brainwave activity in real time.
Whoa, brainwave activity. That sounds pretty high tech.
It is.
How does that tie into chiropractic care?
It's all about understanding how adjustments to the upper cervical spine are affecting the nervous system as a whole.
Okay.
So by monitoring those brainwave patterns before, during, and after an adjustment, he can actually see how the nervous system is responding.
So it's like getting feedback directly from the brain. Like, is this working? Is this not working?
Exactly.
Fascinating.
It allows him to really fine-tune his approach and make sure that he's getting the best possible outcome for each patient.
That's incredible.
And that's not all. He's also exploring the use of virtual reality in his practice.
Virtual reality, that is really thinking outside the box.
Right?
I'm picturing patients wearing like those big headsets while they're getting adjusted.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Okay.
It's more about using VR as a tool for patient education and rehabilitation.
Okay.
So imagine being able to visualize your own spine in 3D, seeing exactly where those misalignments are,
Oh, wow.
and how the adjustments are going to help correct them.
That would be pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it really helps patients understand their own bodies, and take a more active role in their healing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for rehab, he's using VR to create customized exercise programs
Okay.
that target specific areas of the body. And patients can do these exercises in the clinic or even at home, guided by the VR program.
That's fantastic.
It's pretty cool stuff. But it makes you think about accessibility,
Right.
because these technologies are likely expensive and not every clinic is going to be able to afford them.
Exactly.
And I think Dr. Luke is very aware of that,
Yeah.
He's not advocating for every chiropractor to go out and get all the latest gadgets.
Right.
But he sees the potential, he really does, for these technologies to transform the field and improve patient outcomes.
It's finding that balance,
Yeah.
between embracing those innovations while staying true to the core principles.
Exactly.
But let's get back to Dr. Lepp's vision for the future. Does he want to share this knowledge with other practitioners, like through maybe mentorship or training programs?
He does. He actually is in the process of developing a training program for other chiropractors who are interested in incorporating upper cervical care and these advanced technologies into their own practices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wants to create this network of like-minded practitioners who are really committed to this holistic, patient-centered approach.
That's awesome, because it's one thing to achieve success in your own practice, but it's another level to actually share your knowledge and empower others to do the same.
Yeah.
And that really speaks to a passion for advancing the field as a whole.
Totally. And speaking of passion, there's one more aspect of Dr. Luke's vision that I wanted to mention, his commitment to community outreach and education.
Okay, yeah.
He's a huge believer in empowering people with the knowledge and tools to take control of their own health.
Right.
Not just relying on healthcare providers to fix them.
Especially in a world where people just feel so overwhelmed when it comes to their health.
Right.
It's so important to feel empowered.
Totally. So he gives talks at community centers, schools, even businesses, and he's educating people about the importance of spinal health, the benefits of chiropractic care, and just how to make those lifestyle choices that support well-being.
So he's not just treating patients, he's treating the whole community.
Yeah, exactly. Creating a ripple effect.
I love that.
Right. And it all comes back to that name, Ho'ola Chiropractic, to heal, to bring life.
Yeah.
It's not just about fixing backs. It's about helping people live healthier, happier, more fulfilling lives.
I'm really impressed by Dr. Luke and everything we've learned about him and Ho'ola Chiropractic. It's an inspiring story, really. Just passion, innovation, and a deep commitment to serving others.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And for anyone listening who might be feeling inspired to explore upper cervical chiropractic care or just learn more about Dr. Luke's approach, you can find all the information on Ho'ola Chiropractic's website. We'll be sure to include that link in the show notes.
I think as we wrap up this deep dive, we've heard about all the remarkable results Dr. Luke's achieved with his patients.
Yeah.
But the real question is, how much power do you believe you have over your own health? Are you willing to explore those different paths, challenge conventional thinking, and embrace a more holistic approach to well-being?
It's a great question, and I encourage everyone to really think about it. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Ho'ola Chiropractic, and until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep striving for a healthier, happier you.